If you think everything Jesus taught made it into the Bible, you are wrong. There was a recipe, an ointment made from 3 specific herbs. This ointment did not just heal the body, it silenced the mind. It made the soul visible again. Jesus taught this to his closest followers. They carried it into their communities. For centuries, these communities used this ointment to purify themselves from the inside out. Then one day the recipe was stripped from the text. The herbs were erased by name. The communities that knew this ointment were scattered, because this ointment gave people a power that made every middleman unnecessary. No priest, no temple, no institution standing between you and your own purification. That power was declared dangerous. And tonight this video is handing that recipe back to you. Now, before we go any further, understand something. This is not folk medicine. This is not some herbal remedy pulled from a wellness blog. What you are about to learn comes from a tradition that predates every church, every denomination, every organized version of Christianity that exists today. The earliest followers of Jesus did not sit in pews. They did not recite memorized prayers. They practiced. They worked on their own bodies, their own minds, their own spirits with tools that Jesus gave them directly. The most powerful of those tools was this ointment. The Gospel of Philip says something that would shock most churchgoers. It states that the anointing is superior to baptism. Superior to baptism. In the version of Christianity that survived, baptism is the central ritual. But in the original teaching, the real gateway was the anointing, the act of applying a consecrated substance to the body, not symbolically, physically, with your own hands, on your own skin, at specific points that correspond to something far deeper than muscle and bone. Why would anointing be considered greater than baptism? Because baptism is done to you. Someone else pours the water. Someone else says the words. You receive it passively. But anointing is something you do. You prepare the substance. You apply it yourself. You activate something within your own body through your own intention and your own hands. This is the difference between dependence and sovereignty. And this difference is exactly why the anointing was suppressed. In the early centuries after Jesus, communities spread across Syria and Egypt practicing these teachings. These were not theoretical groups debating theology. These were people living the practice every day. Archaeologists have found their homes. Inside those homes, they discovered small stone vessels stained with residue, grinding tools with plant matter still embedded in the surface, application stones smoothed by years of use. These were daily instruments of purification. The ointment was a precise combination of 3 specific herbs, each one targeting a different layer of the human being. Because Jesus did not see you as a single thing. He saw you as 3 layers woven together. The first layer is soma, your physical body, the flesh, the bones, the blood, the weight you carry every single day. The second layer is psyche, your mind, the thoughts, the emotions, the constant noise that never stops talking. The third layer is pneuma, your spirit, the divine spark buried so deep inside you that most people forget it is even there. These 3 layers are not a metaphor. In the Gnostic tradition, they are as real as your heartbeat. And here is the part that changes everything. Each of these layers can become contaminated. Each one can accumulate a residue that does not belong to you. And when that residue builds up, you feel it every single day, even if you cannot name it. That heaviness in your body when you wake up in the morning, that is not just fatigue. That is soma contamination. Something is attached to your physical layer and it is pulling you down. That voice in your head that never stops. The one that criticizes, doubts, worries, replays conversations, invents worst-case scenarios. That is not just anxiety. That is psyche contamination. Something is feeding noise into your mental layer to keep you distracted, unable to hear anything deeper. And that emptiness in your chest, that hollow feeling that nothing in the material world seems to fill, not money, not relationships, not achievements. That is not depression. That is pneuma contamination. Something is covering your divine spark, muffling its signal, making you forget what you actually are. 3 symptoms, 3 layers, 3 contaminations. And Jesus left a 3-part remedy that targets each one individually. The communities that practiced this understood something that modern religion has completely lost. Purification is not a belief. It is not a prayer you say and hope for the best. Purification is a physical act performed on a physical body that produces changes you can feel in your own flesh, in your own mind, in your own chest. The ointment was a technology that made this possible. And the reason it was erased is the same reason every liberating tool gets erased. It gave power to the individual. In the 4th century, something specific happened to these communities. It was not a gradual fading. It was targeted. Leaders were exiled. Meeting places were shut down. The written records of their practices were hunted and destroyed, not because these practices were heretical in some abstract sense, but because they worked. People who used this ointment stopped needing the priest. They stopped fearing the mechanisms of guilt and control. They became self-sufficient in their spiritual lives. That self-sufficiency was the real threat. One detail that rarely gets mentioned is what happened on the last nights before these communities were broken apart. The leaders knew the orders were coming, so they spent those final hours teaching the recipe from memory. No written record, because written records could be seized. Just voice to voice, teacher to student, mouth to ear. The recipe was encoded in memory and carried by the people who scattered across the ancient world. Some of that knowledge survived in fragments. Pieces surfaced in recovered texts. Traces appeared in archaeological residue analysis, and when you put those fragments together, the recipe becomes visible again. Tonight you're going to learn that recipe, but first you need to understand what you are actually cleaning, because if you do not understand the contamination, a remedy is just a recipe, and a recipe without understanding is a ritual without power. Soma is the densest part of you, the part the material world can touch directly. Every environment you walk through leaves something on your physical body, not just dirt and pollution, frequencies, residues that vibrate at a level your eyes cannot see, but your body absolutely feels. This is why some rooms make you feel heavy the moment you walk in. This is why certain places drain you and others restore you. Your soma is constantly absorbing the energetic signature of everything around it. Over time, that accumulation becomes a weight that sits on your muscles, your joints, your chest. You wake up feeling like you carried stones in your sleep. That is not aging. That is buildup. Psyche is your mental and emotional field, more subtle than soma, but in many ways more vulnerable. Because psyche does not just absorb frequencies from the environment, it generates its own. And the problem is that most of those thoughts are not yours. The constant inner monologue, the self-doubt, the criticism, the anxiety spirals, these are not organic products of your own mind. They are signals being fed into your psyche layer from the outside. The archons operate precisely in this bandwidth. They do not need to appear in front of you. They simply inject frequency into your mental layer, and you experience it as your own thinking. You believe the doubt is yours. You believe the fear is yours. It is not. Pneuma is the deepest layer. This is where your divine spark lives, the fragment of the monad that was placed inside you before you entered this material world. Pneuma is not contaminated the same way as in psyche are. Pneuma is covered. Imagine a lantern with layer after layer of cloth wrapped around it. The flame inside is still burning. It never went out, but the light cannot get through. That forgetting is the deepest contamination. Not dirt, not noise, but amnesia. You forgot what you are, and that forgetting is not an accident. It is engineered. Now you understand the 3 contaminations. Heaviness on the body, noise in the mind, amnesia in the spirit. And now you are ready for the 3 herbs. The first herb is a sip. If you have read any biblical text, you have encountered this plant. It appears over and over, always in the context of purification. It was used to mark the doorpost during the Passover. It was used in cleansing rituals throughout the ancient world. But most people read past it as a historical footnote. They do not ask why the specific plant was chosen above all others for purification. HIP works on the soma layer. Its compounds interact with the physical body at the cellular level. It penetrates the skin and begins to break down the energetic residue that has accumulated on your flesh. Think of it as a solvent for frequencies that do not belong to you. When a sip touches your skin in the form of a consecrated ointment, it begins dissolving the weight. That heaviness you feel every morning starts to lift, not in weeks. The first application produces a noticeable shift. Your body feels lighter. Your breathing deepens. The tension you have been carrying, without realizing it, begins to release. The second herb is spikenard. This is the herb that most people miss entirely. Spikenard appears in the Gospels in one of the most significant moments when a woman anoints Jesus with an oil so valuable that the disciples protest. But the value was not monetary. The value was functional. Spikenard works on the psyche layer. It crosses the boundary between physical substance and mental field. When absorbed through the skin, spikenard does not just calm your nerves. It interrupts the external signal. The noise in your mind is not all yours. Much of it is being broadcast into your psyche from the outside. Spikenard interferes with that broadcast. It creates a buffer zone around your mental layer that etheric frequencies cannot easily penetrate. The inner voice does not just get quieter. It changes character entirely. The critical, fearful, doubting tone is replaced by something you may not have heard in years. Your own actual voice. The one underneath all the noise, the one that has been trying to reach you but could not get through. The third herb is frankincense. This is the one that makes the entire ointment sacred. Frankincense has been used in spiritual practice for thousands of years across every major tradition on earth, but its use in the Gnostic communities was very specific. Frankincense works on the pneuma layer. It does not purify in the way his sip purifies. It does not quiet in the way spikenard quiets. Frankincense uncovers. It dissolves the layers of cloth wrapped around your inner lantern. When frankincense is absorbed into the body through a consecrated ointment applied at the correct point, it reaches the deepest layer of your being and begins to thin the barrier between you and your own divine spark. This is why frankincense was one of the 3 gifts brought at the birth of Jesus. It was not a random expensive present. It was a recognition of what that child carried inside and a tool to keep that connection uncovered. Right now, put your hand on the center of your chest. Feel the warmth under your palm. That warmth is not just blood flow. That is your pneuma, your divine spark, sending the faintest signal through all the layers that have been piled on top of it. Frankincense reaches that spot from the skin through every layer until it touches a covering around your spark and begins to dissolve it. 3 herbs, 3 layers. Hyssop for the body, spikenard for the mind, frankincense for the spirit. This is not a coincidence. This is architecture. Seconds now. Here is how you prepare the ointment. Cauldressed olive oil is what the ancient communities used. Because olive oil has a molecular structure that bonds with all 3 herbs and carries their properties through the skin barrier. You take equal portions of dried hyssop, spikenard root, and frankincense resin. You crush them together, not in a machine with your hands, using a mortar and pestle or 2 clean stones. The physical act of crushing is part of the preparation. Your intention enters the mixture through your hands. The Pistopia describes a human hand as the point where it becomes matter. What you intend while you crush these herbs is encoded into the mixture at a level that a machine cannot replicate. Once crushed, you add them to the olive oil. You let this mixture sit in a sealed container in a dark place for 7 days. The compound from each herb slowly releases into the oil. After 7 days, you strain out the solid material. What remains is the ointment. It will have a deep layered scent, earthy from the hyssop, warm from the spikenard, sacred from the frankincense. That scent is not just pleasant, it is functional. The aroma itself begins the purification process the moment you open the container. Now here's the part that separates this from any ordinary herbal preparation, the application points. There are 3 points on your body where this ointment is applied. Each point corresponds to one of the 3 layers. The first point is the soles of your feet. This is the soma gateway. Your feet are where your body makes contact with the material world. Applying the ointment here creates a seal at the entry point. His sup activates and begins drawing out the physical residue from your soma layer. You apply a small amount to each sole and rub it in with slow circular motions. You'll feel a warmth spreading upward from your feet through your legs. That warmth is the beginning of the release. The second point is the base of your skull, right where your neck meets the back of your head. This is the psyche gateway. Ancient traditions across the world identified this spot as the point where the mind connects to the body. The Gnostic communities call it the silent door because it is where external signals enter your mental field without you knowing. Applying the ointment here activates the spikenard. it begins to seal that door. You apply a small amount and press gently with 2 fingers, holding for 7 slow breaths. During those breaths, you may feel a subtle pressure release inside your skull. That is the buffer forming. The third point is the center of your chest, right over your heart. This is the pneuma gateway. This is where your divine spark sits buried under layers of forgetting. Applying the ointment here activates the frankincense. You apply it and place your full palm over it. Close your eyes, breathe, and wait. Some people feel a sudden heat from inside the chest rather than from the hand. Some feel an emotion rise without any clear reason. Some feel a vibration almost like a sound not heard with the ears, but felt in the bones. Whatever you feel, that is your spark responding. That is the flame inside the lantern recognizing that someone is finally removing the cloth. You apply this ointment once at night before sleep. During sleep, your conscious mind steps aside and the 3 layers become more accessible. 7 consecutive nights of application begins a purification cycle that builds on itself. Each night, the ointment reaches deeper. Each morning, you wake up lighter, clearer, more connected to something you cannot name but absolutely feel. In the first 3 nights, the soma layer responds. You will sleep differently, deeper, more still. You may wake up without that familiar heaviness for the first time in years. By the 4th night, the psyche layer begins to clear. The mental noise reduces, not just volume, but content. The anxious thoughts, the self-criticism, the endless replaying begin to lose their grip. You start to notice gaps of silence in your mind, moments where no thought is present and you are simply aware. Those gaps are sacred. They are the spaces where your own voice can finally be heard. By the 7th night, the pneuma layer responds. You feel a presence, not outside you, inside you, a warmth, a fullness, a recognition. The hollow feeling in your chest begins to fill, not with emotion, with something older, something that was always there but had been muffled for so long you forgot it existed. Now there's a voice inside you right now, and maybe it is saying this sounds too simple. 3 herbs and some oil. If you are hearing that voice, good, because that resistance is not coming from you. That doubt is the system protecting itself. The archons do not waste energy on things that pose no threat. If this ointment were meaningless, you would feel nothing hearing about it. No resistance, no skepticism, no urge to dismiss it. The fact that something inside you is pushing back is the clearest sign that what you are hearing is real. Your doubt is not your doubt. It is evidence. You have felt those 3 things your entire life. The heaviness, the noise, the emptiness, and you have tried to fix them through every channel the world offers. Exercise for the body, therapy for the mind, religion for the spirit. None of it fully worked. Not because those approaches are worthless, but because they were never designed to reach the actual contamination. They treat the surface. The ointment reaches the root. If you felt something shift inside you while listening to this, if there was a moment where your chest responded, or your breath changed, or something clicked into place, tell me about it in the comments. Not a phrase, not a slogan. Tell me what you actually felt. Your experience is not just a comment. It is a signal to someone else watching this right now, wondering if they're the only one who feels this way. Your words might be the thing that gives them permission to trust what they are feeling. Tonight, you receive something that was taken from you a long time ago, not taken from humanity in general. Taken from you specifically because you're the kind of person this ointment was made for. You have carried that heaviness, that noise, that emptiness, not because something is wrong with you, but because something was done to you. Layers were placed on you that do not belong to you, and now you have the tool to remove them. 3 herbs, 3 points, 7 nights. What happens after that is between you and the spark that has been waiting inside your chest for you to remember it exists. This channel exists for one reason: to return what was hidden. Every video pulls back another layer of what was buried. If this is the first time you found this channel, you did not find it by accident. Subscribe so the next piece reaches you when it is supposed to. And if this video opens something in you, hit that like button. Not for me, for the algorithm. Because every like pushes us closer to another chosen one who is still searching and does not yet know that what they've been looking for has already been found.